court is now in session. Today's case involves a wedding, a fake pregnancy, and a betrayal so extreme it almost destroyed an entire family. But instead of stopping it, the bride made a chilling decision. She let it happen, and turned it into something no one in that room will ever forget. You're the jury today. Listen carefully, and decide, was this justice, or pure destruction? Let's dive in. I wish I could say this story surprised me. I really do. But if you grew up with my sister, Rachel, you'd realize that her life is basically one long, desperate attempt to be the main character in a movie no one else wants to watch. Rachel doesn't just like attention, she starves for it. It's a pathological need. If I got an A on a test, she suddenly had a mysterious migraine that required a trip to the ER. If it was my birthday, she'd pick a fight with my mom so that the dinner conversation was about her mental health instead of my cake. Growing up, I learned to just live in the shadows of her manufactured crises. I thought that as we got older, she'd grow out of it. I was wrong. I'd been with my fiancé, Mark, for 6 years. We're that boring couple everyone knows. We saved our money, worked entry-level jobs, bought a fixer-upper, and slowly built a life. When Mark finally proposed on a hiking trip last year, it wasn't some grand, viral-ready stunt. It was quiet, real, and perfect. When I told the family, the reaction was great, from everyone except Rachel. Oh, she said the right things. She hugged me and whispered, "I'm so happy for you," but she had that look in her eyes. It's a look I've seen since we were kids. It's the look of someone who is mentally calculating how much oxygen this is going to take out of the room. For the first few months of wedding planning, Rachel was oddly helpful. She came to dress fittings. She helped pick out flower arrangements. I actually started to feel guilty for being so suspicious of her. I thought, maybe she's changed. Maybe my wedding is the one thing she won't touch. That was my first mistake. About 2 months before the wedding, we were all at my parents' house for Sunday dinner. The conversation was mostly about the seating chart and the catering. I could see Rachel's leg bouncing under the table. She was vibrating with the need to interrupt. Finally, she stood up and clinked her glass with a spoon. "I have something to share," she said, her voice trembling with forced emotion. "I know this is David and Mark's time, but I just couldn't keep this secret any longer. I'm pregnant." The room went into a frenzy. My mom burst into tears. My dad started opening a bottle of champagne. My wedding, which we had been discussing 2 minutes prior, was instantly forgotten. But I looked at her boyfriend, Alex. He didn't look like a proud father-to-be. He looked like someone who had just been told his car was being towed. He was pale, sweating, and staring at his plate. Over the next few weeks, Rachel made the pregnancy her entire personality. She couldn't help with the heavy lifting for the wedding because of morning sickness. She couldn't wear the bridesmaid dress I bought because she'd be showing too much by then, even though she'd only be 10 weeks along. She started posting cryptic TikToks about new beginnings and miracle babies. But things weren't adding up. I'm a nurse, so I know a thing or two about prenatal care. Every time I asked which OBGYN she was seeing, she'd give a vague answer. When I offered to go with her to an ultrasound because Alex was busy with work, she'd snap at me and say I was crowding her. The morning sickness only seemed to happen when people were looking. I caught her in the kitchen at 11 p.m. one night during a family weekend, inhaling a plate of spicy nachos. When she saw me, she immediately started clutching her stomach and groaning. "The baby wanted salt," she hissed. "At 10 weeks? Usually, the nausea is pretty consistent, Rachel," I said. She just rolled her eyes and walked away. I decided to call Alex. I felt like a spy, but I couldn't help it. We met at a coffee shop, and he looked like a broken man. "Alex, be honest with me," I said. "Have you seen an ultrasound? Have you seen a positive test?" He sighed and rubbed his face. "She showed me a test, David. But it was in the trash. And honestly? She's been acting weird. She won't let me come to the doctor. She says it's her journey. I don't think she's pregnant. I think she's desperate." That was the confirmation I needed. My sister wasn't just seeking attention, she was committing a massive, cruel fraud to overshadow the biggest day of my life. And I knew exactly what she was planning. She had dropped hints to my cousins that she was going to do a gender reveal at the reception. Most people would have confronted her then. They would have had a screaming match in the living room and uninvited her. But if I did that, I'd be the bridezilla who kicked out her pregnant sister. Rachel would play the victim, and my parents would never forgive me. No. If Rachel wanted a stage, I was going to give her the brightest, loudest stage on earth. I spent the next 2 weeks being the perfect brother. I told Rachel I was so sorry for being skeptical. I told her I wanted her to have a special moment at the wedding to celebrate her news. I even told her I'd set up a slideshow of family memories and that she could use the microphone whenever she wanted. She took the bait. Hook, line, and sinker. The wedding day arrived. It was beautiful. I focused on Mark, on our vows, and on the joy of the ceremony. But in the back of my mind, I was checking my watch. During the reception, Rachel was in her element. She was wearing a dress that was slightly too tight, purposely rubbing her stomach while talking to my aunts. She was soaking in the congratulations and the "oh, you're glowing" comments. Around 9 p.m., the music dimmed. This was it. Rachel walked up to the DJ booth. She looked radiant, but it was the radiance of a predator about to strike. She grabbed the mic. "Hi everyone. Can I have your attention?" she chirped. "I know tonight is about Mark and David, but as a family, we have so much to celebrate. I wanted to share a very special reveal with all of you tonight regarding the new addition to our family." The room went silent. My parents were beaming. "Before you continue, Rachel," I said, standing up from the head table with my own mic, "I actually have a surprise for you, too. I know how much you value the truth, so I wanted to help you share it." I nodded to the DJ. The giant projector screen behind the dance floor didn't show baby shoes or a sonogram. It showed a series of screenshots. First, a text from Rachel to her best friend, which I had obtained with Alex's help, that said, "If I don't do something big, David's wedding is going to be all anyone talks about for a year. I'll just tell them I'm pregnant. By the time they realize I'm not, the wedding will be over anyway." Second, a photo of the positive test she had shown Alex. Below it was a Google image search result showing the exact same photo from a stock photography website. Third, a recording of a conversation where Rachel laughed about how easy it is to fake morning sickness. The silence in that room was unlike anything I'd ever heard. It wasn't just quiet, it was heavy. You could hear the hum of the air conditioner. Rachel's face went from smug to ghostly white in 3 seconds. What is this? This is a joke, right? David, this is sick." "No, Rachel," I said, my voice steady. "What's sick is lying to your parents and your boyfriend about a child just so you could take a moment that didn't belong to you. What's sick is faking a miracle for clout." Alex stood up from his table. He didn't say a word. He just grabbed his jacket and walked out the front door. Rachel started to scream. She called me a jealous freak. She turned to my parents, waiting for them to defend her. But for the first time in 30 years, they didn't. My mom was staring at the screen, her hand over her mouth, realizing that her grandchild was just a Google image search. "Leave, Rachel," my dad said. It was the quietest I'd ever heard him speak, and it was terrifying. She tried to make a scene, throwing her glass, sobbing loudly, but the security I had hired, just in case, quickly escorted her out. The craziest part? 10 minutes after she was gone, the wedding got better. It was like a dark cloud had been lifted. My parents apologized to me right there on the dance floor. My friends cheered. We danced until 2 a.m. Without Rachel there to manufacture a crisis, we actually got to have a celebration. Rachel tried to damage control on Facebook the next day, claiming I hacked her phone and photoshopped the texts. But no one believed her. Alex broke up with her that night. My parents have put her on a strict information diet and told her she needs to seek professional help before she's allowed back for Christmas. I didn't just save my wedding. I broke the cycle. So, jury, did I go too far by exposing her in front of the whole family, or was it the only way to finally stop the lies? Drop your verdict below, and don't forget to subscribe to join.